Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to yet another value-packed webinar brought to you by the Mosman Chamber of Commerce. So this webinar is being recorded and it will be provided to you later. I'm Shannon Chin and I'm the committee member of the Mosman Chamber of Commerce. I'm also a business owner, a published author, and a speaker. And now I am the host for today's webinar. Today we have Karen Hall with us, and she's the committee member of the Mosman Chamber, and she's also a regular presenter at our Women in Business series event, and she's the founder and the chief doer at 101 Things Marketing, the winner of 2020 Australian Enterprise Awards Most Innovative Marketing Consultancy in Sydney. I made it. And Karen brings with her today over 20 years of marketing experience for global brands, and now helps small, medium enterprise build their brand, collateral, and also leverage their online marketing assets to generate leads and growth. Today, she'll take us through the 7 practical tips to improve your marketing today, and they don't cost a cent. How good is that?
That's what we do.
Excited. Yes. I'm excited. Now, just a few housekeeping notes before we get started. Please ask questions through the chat window as we go through, and we'll keep tabs on them. And if we can answer them as we go, we will. Otherwise, we'll try to get all your questions at the end. Now, the second one is take actions. No notes as we go, with an eye to take one thing away that you can do differently today. Now, the last thing is listen to what you don't know, not what you already know, and that's going to make a huge difference. So let's jump straight in, shall we?
We're ready.
Karen, you mentioned that you will share with us today how to COVID enable your marketing. So what does that mean to you and to our webinar participants?
Cool, thank you, Shannon. And that last point, just to listen for what you don't know, is really important, because sometimes we do go to, or pre-COVID, we went to seminars and we sat in rooms for training, etc. And we don't often click on to the things. We say, oh, I knew that, but we don't have our mind open for things that we don't know. So I just really encourage you to do that today. So what it means for me today is to kind of how to adapt your business to the now, to the new, as we're talking about, but also how to get ready for the upswing and to optimize your business now for the upswing as we're going to come out of self-isolation. So I'm quite optimistic that we're going to come out, and Australia is going to come out of COVID-19 probably earlier than we had originally thought. It's not going to be a matter of kind of many months before we start coming out of self-isolation, hopefully. So we've done very, very well as a broad community. So it means to me what we can adapt now and what we probably should have been looking at in the business, but also how we prepare right now to get ready for that upswing and coming out of the COVID-19 kind of shambles, so we can just really maximize that next opportunity.
Sounds great. And so what are your top tips to help businesses improve their marketing in this new environment?
Yeah, so I was having a think about, and we're doing a lot of kind of client service calls at the moment about things that businesses can do that maybe don't cost a cent, but that if you have had a downturn in your business, that you've got a little bit of time to maybe execute on these or do them right now that you might not have had previously, or that are just super important right now because people's worry lists are really different now than they were 4 weeks ago or even 8 weeks ago. So I've come up with kind of 7 practical tips that I would encourage you to think about and probably take action on at least a couple of them that don't cost a cent, but that might need or might deserve your attention right now. And the first one of those is just to ask the question, what does your online presence say about you today? So if you Googled yourself as a new prospect, what would the results say about you? And the first one of those I'd look at is definitely your Google My Business profile. So you must have a Google My Business profile, particularly if you're a local business, which many of us are in the Mosman Chamber of Commerce, because Google My Business is a free platform and it's a Google product. And guess what? Google loves its own product. So it's gonna rank you higher on things like 101 Things Marketing or marketing services near me. So that near me kind of search term. So definitely look at a Google My Business profile and really optimize that. So optimization means a couple of things. It means getting lots and lots of photos up there. It means having a really good description in the back end and in your profile. And it used to also mean getting lots and lots of Google reviews on there. Now, just for the moment, Google My Business are not processing client reviews. So just for the moment, don't ask for Google My Business reviews. Google are putting their team onto other things during this COVID time. So ask for reviews at the moment on either LinkedIn or Facebook, but just hold off on asking for Google My Business reviews. So do them on the other platforms. But when they come back online, and we don't have a time frame yet from Google, but when they do come back online, that is a really, really important thing to optimize your Google My Business page. So we've got clients that have got nearing 100 or over 100 Google My Business reviews, and they get over 70% of their business just from Google My Business, which is a free platform. So it's incredibly important. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is also ranking really well in search, so we can help you and give you a list of what you need to do in terms of optimizing your LinkedIn profile, but that's incredibly important for most local businesses as well. And if you've ever thought about starting a YouTube channel because you have some video, do it. So Google owns YouTube, so it's really, really important to be ranking highly on YouTube because Google loves its own products again. And the key to YouTube is putting in lots of tags to your videos. So don't just post a video and think that it's going to be seen by hundreds of tons of people. You need lots of tagging in there. And the best way to find the best tags for videos is actually to search in YouTube on the keywords, and it'll give you some tagging ideas. So YouTube, really, really important to supplement your videos that you're putting everywhere else. So that would be the first one. So just really look at yourself from a prospect or new customer point of view and ask yourself, what does your online presence say about you? If you are a committee member, for example, for the Mosman Chamber of Commerce, make sure you've got your profile up on the Mosman Chamber of Commerce website, because that'll give you another search term ranking when people search you as well. So when someone searches for my business, my Mosman Chamber of Commerce profile comes up as another kind of credibility factor for my business. So that's really important to consider. Number two is be a connector. So just like the Mosman Chamber of Commerce here are connecting us all and adding, providing us with a connection kind of opportunity, I'd really implore you to be a connector. And I know Brad's on this call, so he's connecting people in his network all the time and every single day. So one of our partners recently hosted a partnership-a-thon. It's essentially an online Zoom call to facilitate collaboration between all of their clients. And they had 86 clients on the call. So they just went out to their database. They said, hey clients, we're going to run this partnership-a-thon. We've never done it before, but this is, we've never had a COVID-19 pandemic like this before either. If you want to join in, the impetus is on you to come in and see if we've got collaboration opportunities. So those clients identified over 350 opportunities for introductions to each other and other businesses. So if I was on the call with Shannon, I'd go, hey Shannon, look, I know some people that you should talk to, some other businesses that you should talk to. Brad, God, you should be talking to this accountant or this other, these other companies, and those introductions just flowed. So really important at this point in time to be being a connector. And you'll see that there are lots of revenue opportunities to build referral partnerships and other kind of partnership opportunities, and also introduce those to your clients. I guess my question to you is it worth that for your member base? It's really easy to do. It's using breakout rooms in Zoom. Super cool, and it's using the kind of same technology we're using today. It's just using breakout rooms on top of what we're using today, which is very easy to do. Number 3 is kind of touches on this as well, but just give value freely. So again, what the Mosman Chamber of Commerce are doing with this video series is setting up and giving that value freely to all of their member base and then posting it on socials. Another one of my partners is doing a podcast series. She's got together all of her experts, interviewed them on a podcast series, and is pushing that out to all of her social media platforms. And that's her way of bringing all the value together and then dishing it out to her clients so they can have it all in one place. So really think about how much value you can give away freely. Do not be worried about giving away your IP. Your clients will still need you to execute on that, despite the fact that they can probably think, oh, I can do that myself. They will definitely still need you to execute on that. And a couple of quick tips on what to speak about in terms of the value is your best tips, mistakes that you're seeing clients make, case studies of how you've helped your clients and how they're benefiting from your services is really, really important as well. So that kind of storytelling. And Cataline will understand, the power of storytelling in terms of the media that he does. And
because we're not only cameras, we are
same with
information going away. So
same with our video ninja on the call today.
Yes.
So the power of storytelling, showing, not telling, in terms of those case studies, etc. So we recently had a mortgage broker client, and she was telling the stories to video of how she's helping her clients, in one case saving $96,000 on the remaining term of her home loan. So she was using words around, helping this family save $96,000. She didn't use the word client, as I just used, helping families and helping couples save on their home loans. So it was telling the story of the family and the couples, not how amazing she was necessarily. Tip number 4 is build your referral partner network. So if you do have some downtime at the moment, maybe you've lost some clients or there's just a downturn in business, this is a brilliant time to build up that partnership strategy. So go out and find more referral partners. And the impetus behind this is to sell one-to-many, not one-to-one. So instead of me going out and spending an enormous amount of time winning Lola's business and then winning Pat's business and then Tresca's business, and I have to go out and hustle to win each of those, I might just go and speak to Brad and share and engage with him on his database, and he can do this referral marketing strategy with me, or this partnership marketing strategy with me, and we can collaborate in that and do this one-to-many strategy. So that's how I've entirely grown my business, through word of mouth and partnership marketing. And that would bring me in multiples of leads every week that I don't have to go out and hunt and gather. They come to me because my referral partners are effectively my volunteer sales force, if you like. And every time they run an event, I get leads in. So I don't have to go out and win Lola's and Tresca's and Sharon's individual business every day. I don't have to do that hustle. So my cost of sale comes right down. My cost of prospecting comes right down. So that's a huge time saver, effort saver, and energy saver. And right now, if you have there is a downturn in your business, it's really important to think about the types of businesses that are non-compete with you, but that sit alongside the type of business that you do, so that they're consultative to yours and that you could team up with. So that, just having the mind space and the kind of creative thinking space to do that might, you know, that might be an upside of COVID-19 right now in terms of having that time and creative space to have a think about who they might be. And you might find that the people that you're reaching out to might have that, you know, that little bit of space and time and energy and an actual impetus to do that with, you know, back with you as well. So we did this brainstorming session with a client recently, and we identified 42 potential partners that they could reach out to. So they were connected businesses to his, but they were non-compete businesses to his. So that's 42 opportunities for him to go out, 42 conversations that he could have to go out and speak with other people about whether there's an opportunity. And remember, you're not going to be best friends with all of them, and not every single one of those is going to come off, but there's a hell of a lot of opportunity that might come off in 42 conversations. So that was super exciting. Number 5, and I might be shooting myself in the foot here because we do graphic design, but if you're not using Canva for little social media tiles and little images in your business, I'd definitely jump on Canva, and you can do everything from little tiles to flyers to infographics, etc. And it's free at the basic level. So it's an absolutely brilliant tool. It's canva.com. Brilliant tool, free, and you can upgrade if you want, or pay $1 for some of the little images and graphics. So $1 is almost not costing a cent, Shannon. And really, really brilliant, and makes it really easy for you if you just need small images or social tiles, etc. So it's a brilliant kind of strategy to get you through if you do need to cut costs in COVID-19 times. And number 6, if again you do have some time or you've had the inclination previously, one word is to write. So create some ebooks that in which you can share your expertise. So every single business I work with, and across every single industry, I think you take for granted what you do every day. So if you could capture that information and that kind of expertise, whether it's the frequently asked questions that you solve on every single business call, the case studies, the client stories, or the scenarios that you help with, and write those down into an ebook, I think that would be really, really powerful. You can then use that as a giveaway to, we call it a product for prospects. So it's a giveaway on your social media and on email or on your website, just to get interest and to get more people engaged and to learn more about what you do, but you're showing them, you're not telling them. So as an example, if after every single phone call you had for an entire week, you just wrote down, after one phone call, you wrote down, what was the main question that I solved for that client? Write that down. Next phone call, write that down. The next one. In an entire week, you'd have the outline of your ebook. I guarantee it. It's just that we don't stop and write down that main question or that case study at the time. So if you had minimum kind of 5 phone calls over an entire week, that's 5 or so case studies. You can write 4 pages out of that really, really easily. The other thing that we use is just Rev on the phone, which is a transcription service. You can either just record those into your phone and get it transcribed back to you for $1 a minute, or you can type them out. The only downside to typing them out that we find is that our clients tend to try and get every single word perfect then, and it just slows them down. So we'd actually encourage you to just talk it and then make it word perfect a little bit later. So I reckon every single person on this call has probably got an ebook in them within a week. That would be my challenge to you, and it's a brilliant giveaway. We're polishing 4 ebooks for clients at the moment, because they feel that this is a really good time and they've got a little bit of free capacity to write this right now for their clients. And some of them are, repurposing their previous ebooks and COVID-19izing them. So putting an overlay of, you know, the current environment on them and just putting an extra top and tail on them as well. So last one, number 7, if we can move on to that one, is just look outside your own industry for inspiration as well. So why this has always been important in marketing, because we do tend to look at inside our own industry and what are our competitors doing, and, you know, or just what have I done before and stick to that kind of same path. But I was inspired recently by a real estate company who was giving away a complimentary Pilates, online Pilates class. So during COVID, he had teamed up with a Pilates instructor who was doing online classes, and was able to give away those complimentary passes for free to his entire database. Now, if you think about it, and actually this didn't cost him anything. So he approached the Pilates instructor who was already doing the classes for her paying clients and said to her, hey, I've got this amazing database that suits, you know, your local area. Would you mind making that online course available to my clients as well? And you'll get some great brand exposure out of that. So she went, of course, that's fine. It doesn't cost me anything more. I'm already doing the class. So just open it up to more Zoom people. And the partnership was made. So he got amazing kudos for giving his clients something free. And she's an amazing Pilates instructor. And she got much more brand exposure, and there was no exchange of money through that. So there's some absolutely brilliant and really creative giveaways, but also just product pivots that are going on. So I'd really encourage you just to think about looking outside your own industry for some inspiration on what ideas might be out there that you can. We call it be inspired by, we don't call it stealing, inspired by across to your business as well.
Great advice, Karen. I have got a lot of energy saving light bulbs moment. Probably have 7 light bulbs now I can replace. So my next question is that what are the biggest mistakes that businesses are making right now?
Cool. Oh, I just remembered one more, number 8. Zig when other people are zagging. So now might be a good time. If you've ever thought about entering some awards, now might be a good time to do that. So whether they're industry awards, for example, now might be a good time to do that, just because other people might not be, and there might be a little bit less competition out there. So we ghostwrite award entries for a lot of our clients because they don't have the time or they don't know how to tell their story well. But what I feel is that some clients are not in that headspace. Some people might not be in that headspace right now. So it might be a good time for a lot of people on this call to be thinking about doing that. Maybe there are not as many entrants as there might usually be, just as a thought. To answer your question, 5 mistakes businesses are making. So we're probably seeing, or the number 1 mistake that we'd be seeing is that clients are writing to, so our clients are writing to their clients about, or from their perspective. So the mistake is that it's not about you. So they're writing about what's on their mind or from their perspective, not from the customer's problems perspective. So as an example, we had a client recently that did she now loves video. She didn't used to love video. And she did a video on how physical it was to move herself to a home office, and then told another story. But that whole first part of the video was completely irrelevant to her clients. So you need to get out of your own head and only focus on the customer's problems, not about your story about how hard, the hardship you're going through. That's completely irrelevant to the client. We only care about ourselves. So just focus on that one. That's the biggest problem I'm seeing, particularly in marketing communications. The second one is that creativity needs space. And I read a really interesting article recently that when we're stressed, our IQ halves. And I can actually see this in the stepchildren when they're really stressed, right? So when, even as adults, when we're really stressed, we don't think clearly. So when you're making decisions as a business owner, or you're writing to your clients, or you're writing an email marketing piece, or you're writing back to a client, maybe something's gone wrong, or you know, they're asking for payment terms or whatever it is, you just need to come off that or lower that stress level a lot. So we had a client earlier this week that was really worried about her Facebook marketing, and she was very, very stressed about it, and I could tell that she wasn't going to make the right decisions for her business because her stress level was really, really high. So just in terms of your marketing, I would definitely, I don't know whether it takes a cup of tea or something stronger, but just be aware that if our stress levels are high, when we're either writing back to clients if there's an issue, or we are writing to clients proactively, that we just need to be in a normal space, not in a heightened space. There are so many things on our worry list at the moment. I think that's a really important thing to remember during this time. Number 3, and I'm seeing this a lot, and I won't mention the person with the bear in the background of his video. Action over intention. So ideas have to get to market to count. So that, what I mean by that is don't start 10 things but then finish none. So Brad's
a little bit harsh, I've got to say, Karen.
So Brad's been really good at realizing that he has a million ideas, but he needs to follow through and get some of them done. So don't start 10 things, but put none of them out to your market. You have to actually get them to market to get that feedback, and for people to buy things from you. If they don't get to market, they're not going to be able to buy them. So what I said and what I'll continue to say is Brad's been really good at acknowledging that and moving on it. Number 4, really quickly, not changing your marketing messages and image that were scheduled pre-COVID to take into account the new mindsets. So there was a company that has been hit really, really hard by COVID in the tourism industry. And so they've been decimated, absolutely decimated. They are keeping a very, very, very healthy mindset about coming out of it again, but their business is effectively shut down at the moment. But what they didn't realize for a little while until we got onto it or pointed it out to them was that they had a whole lot of ads, paid ads, so Google ads and Facebook ads set up that were scheduled months in advance that had messages that were not relevant and in fact broke quite a few social isolation rules and social distancing rules that were still turned on when the social isolation regulations were coming out and even changing every day. So it's really, really important to just make sure that everything that you've got out in the marketplace, everything on your website, everything on your, even down to your invoicing, but even on your email signatures, etc., and your images are suitable for this new world, and just kind of doing an audit of those. So in their case, it was really easy to change the ad messages, but they needed to identify that that was an issue first up. And number 5 is just not preparing for the upswing. So Australia's been amazing at containing or flattening the curve, or whatever analogy you want to use at the moment. But if you're not using this time to prepare for the upswing, I think that's a mistake for businesses. If we do come out of this sooner than originally thought, the questions I would pose is, what do you have ready? And what do you have that's relevant to take advantage of us coming out and preparing for that upswing? Rather than, I guess, just filling our time now as well It's those assets and that collateral and the creative and the storytelling that'll help us come out of that upswing and take advantage of coming out of that upswing.
Great information, Karen. Really appreciate that. I can't stop taking notes. So I've got one more question. What are the 3 actions that you're personally taking as a business owner to adjust to this new environment or new world?
Yeah, so I touched on it before. So we've audited every single message that we had out in market, including all of our automated messages. So Google ads, Facebook ads, reoccurring invoices, invoice reminders. Some of those we've turned off for clients. We've offered payment plans for some of our clients. We've offered discounts to loyal, high value customers. So we've segmented those, not the late paying ones, obviously, but discounts to those. And change their email signatures, voicemail messages, etc. So every single communication channel you can audit and make sure that those messages are still relevant or change them. So even a stay home, stay safe message on your email signature is nice, or the Facebook image, etc. The trick to that is to keep a list of those changes. So when the restrictions are rolled back, you can also roll those back as well. Otherwise, you're going to forget one of them. And come December 2021, you're still going to have a stay home, stay safe message somewhere. So just make sure that you keep a checklist of all of the ones that you've changed. Would be a good idea. Always happens. We've pivoted one of our products, so we're offering a free 15-minute consultation, which we've never kind of previously done, and particularly for anyone on this call that wants to chat about an idea, or if you're out of ideas on how to pivot a product, or prepare for the upswing as well, just give us a call and we're very, very happy to help. We've had a landscaping client who's now offering a garden hire service, so pot and plant hire service that they've never done before, and that's doing really well for them. We've had a vet client that's now offering a subscription service for pet parenting at home, and a teenage counselling service provider who's now doing everything via Zoom. So lots of kind of product pivots that some of them are quite easy to draw down on or to execute on, and some of them, like the landscaping one, he's gone to quite a bit of effort, but he knows that he can also take that forward, and it's a brand new product extension for him forever. So that's been, some of those product pivots are really good value further on. We've also had a fashion design client who used to travel all around the world to the very, very big fashion houses to sell their products. So you think New York, London, Paris, they're now doing YouTube virtual showings. So that's completely changed their business model, and think about all of the CO2 emissions that they're saving as well. But they may stick with some of those models going forward as well. So it's pretty exciting for that industry, and they're leading the way in terms of how that can, how they can take that kind of forward. And the third one is, I've touched on it before in terms of the actions I'm taking right now, just add value. So give your ideas freely, don't sell right now. It's all about giving value, not selling. There's amazing tools, 2 tools that we're using at the moment. One is called Google Trends, and the other one is called Answer the Public. And if you have a look at both of those, you can tap into the sentiment and the headspace of your target audience right now just by searching on keywords. So Google Trends, for me, I would type in keywords like lead generation or marketing sentiment, but you type in your own keywords related to your businesses. And Answer the Public, I would do the same, and it would give me Answer the Public would give me what people are searching on for my industry or my sector right now, and you can do the same thing. And then you can write to those questions that people are asking about. So those are 2 key resources that I'm using, because people's worry list and what they're searching on now is so different to 2 weeks ago and 4 weeks ago and 8 weeks ago. And the last thing I'm doing is lots of professional development. So attending webinars similar to this. So I was on the last webinar with Christine, all about the federal and state stimulus packages. I'll be on Brad's one on HR next week as well. So attending lots of webinars. Mosman Chamber of Commerce is putting on an amazing series of those, right up to Kerwin Ray kind of marketing and sales webinars as well. So just making sure I'm keeping my professional development up, because I don't think there's a better time to invest in that than there is right now.
Fantastic, Karen. Thank you for sharing all these tips with us. Now, I reckon we'll open up to the participants to ask questions. I believe they have so many questions to ask. So I've muted a lot of people, so please feel free to unmute yourself, or I'm happy to unmute everybody.
Karen, I just wanted to, maybe this is not a question, but I want to share with you and with the other participants one beautiful idea, which says that
Yes.
let's not keep the social distancing. Keep the physical distancing, but keep the social distancing close.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know if it makes sense what I'm asking,
Yep.
but I think it's people have to be aware that social distancing doesn't really work. Physical distances on the street, yes, it works because of the situation, but social distancing is not what we might wanted. I've just heard to a different seminar, as you said, that I tried to keep, I can't remember which one, but it's, as you mentioned, I tried to keep myself with the personal development as much informed as I can, and try to be my, because the more interested, the more busier you are, it's just the mental health, it's just keep buzzing. The wheels are keep running.
Especially for you. Yeah, no, I agree. We need to stay connected at the moment. Absolutely. Yep. So we're doing things like, you know, sharing grocery items with our neighbours, so we don't have to go to the grocery store so many times, and sharing baking, and, you know, I agree, physical distancing, but that is what's saving Australia and New Zealand. Actually, we've got clients in New Zealand that are on stage 4 lockdown. So if we think we've got it tough here, New Zealand clients are really, really even the next level. But I agree, physical distancing, but we are so lucky here. We're very, very lucky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. That's what I want to ask.
Make a statement and ask a question in one?
Yes.
Great. So, you know, I think the future of work changes have become fast forwarded. We're now way further down the track. Everyone talks about future of work and working from home and you know, video conferencing, things like that. We're all faced with it now. I think the opportunity that we've got and that we get the chance to seize now is to, you know, really jump onto those mediums and turn our focus onto how we can, you know, generate conversations over webinar and how we can do things like that. Because when we do go out of lockdown, there's a lot of people who aren't going to return back into the city, catching the bus to the city, sitting at a desk all day and then coming home. So I'd be interested to hear some of the different ways you've seen people taking advantage of now, and then things that they're going to continue on in the future.
Yes, I certainly think there's people are going to return less to the 5 days a week in the city or at work. There might be a hybrid. I'd certainly suggest there's going to be a hybrid. So, for example, my husband's thinking about doing part-time in the office and part-time here. I think I'm happy about that. I'm not sure. No. But I certainly think, or what I understand is that some businesses are not set up with the right technology yet to really help facilitate that. So they might have a phone in the corner of an office or a meeting room, but they don't have the technology of the big screen, etc. So some people are still, you know, if you are working from home and you're the only person working from home dialing in, you're still at a bit of a disadvantage if you're on a phone, you're not virtual. if that makes sense. So that I think I think some industries are going to do very well out of this, and that's the big screen, you know, kind of technology kind of companies that will replace the little phone in the corner, where the person at home is just at a status difference, because you can't gesticulate, you can't do this kind of stuff, you can't, you know,
I
get
do
angry.
talk with my hands a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you
I
use
think there's a catch up to do.
you use the P word a lot, pivot. I'm trying to scrub that out of my vocabulary. However, I think this is an opportunity now for people to really pivot their marketing efforts and recognise that we're not going to go back to the pre-COVID ways, and those who adapt sooner, using people like yourself to help them on that path, are going to come out of this a lot quicker than those who are waiting until we can go out and, you know, make a sales call or do an event, you know, face to face and all the rest of it. So
yeah, well, I think that, I mean, Mosman Chamber of Commerce has been amazing at putting these on and never have done before. And I think some of the other networking groups like the BNI and BX that we've talked about, where they're referral networks rather than something like the Mosman Chamber of Commerce, are doing that as well. So you do have some early adapters. One of the case studies that I forgot to mention is just whether testing on Facebook ads, for example, might be something some of the business owners on this call might consider now. So if you've ever been thinking about it, now is probably a good time. The reason I say that is some of the big brands have come out of Facebook advertising, and you're getting about 30% more value now than you were pre-COVID. So if you are thinking about it or have thought about it in the past, you're actually getting a lot of value now because there are less people, including less businesses, including big brands, doing that right now. So you could be testing and learning during this period when Facebook needs a learning period. Its algorithms need to learn about your business. So you need about, latest research that I heard yesterday was you need about 150 clicks on any ads that you're running for Facebook's algorithms to learn enough about your business to optimize it. So why wouldn't you, or a question is, why wouldn't you do that during this testing period when you're getting 30% more value for your ads, so that when we come out, when we do have that upswing, Facebook has already learned about your business and you're kind of ahead of the curve. So that's what that's one of the things that I'm doing, because I know that I can test cheaper. I can get Facebook to learn about my business cheaper, and 30% is not to be sneezed at. And we've tested that with some of our clients, and it's exactly 30 to 35% that they're getting pre-COVID to now, in terms of that extra value and clicks and inquiries. So for us, they've proven the research, or what's being put out there from research. And I think that's something that, if it suits your business, and only if it suits your business, that it might be worth thinking about.
Yeah, so it's an ideal time right now for those people that don't have the workload they had, and fortunately I don't fall into that category, but those people that have got time to spare, is to get their marketing strategies together, get their online presence right, rather than go, oh well, there's no work, doom and gloom. You'll never ever get another opportunity like this to spend time getting things right in your business.
Yeah, but I think you're a case in point where you haven't lost any clients and you're still prioritizing it.
Yeah, because I want to get bigger.
Yeah, but I think that's really important as well. So yes, if you've had a downturn or you've got some free capacity, spare capacity, but also if you haven't lost any clients and you don't have the free capacity, it's still really important, because we are going to have an upswing out of this.
Yeah, and then the best thing you can do is outsource it to someone like yourself, rather than just thinking about it like I do a lot of.
For everyone's context, I am Brad's work wife, so I tend to badger him to get things done.
And given that she's about 150 metres up the road, we could nearly yell to each other from our balconies.
Yes, but we still insist on video.
We do.
Social distancing, yeah. No, good point. Any other questions? Nope, I think we're a bit over time. Sorry, Shannon.
Well, no, we're right on time.
Okay.
Because we've got an hour. So we're right on time. We still have 12 minutes left. Yeah, any more questions?
Amy.
Everyone's so
Can you
quiet.
unmute yourself?
Hello, sorry. I got kicked out by my appalling NBN connection for about 10 minutes, so I missed all some nuggets. So I apologise if I'm going to ask you something that you've already covered off.
That's right.
I guess, I think you mentioned something about being upswing ready. When do you think it's a good time to start remarketing yourself, I suppose? In terms of, you know, giving offers or, you know, promoting product deals or whatever it is. I mean, I'm like you, I've been very uncomfortable about, I guess, selling in this environment. Yeah, and doing all the things that you've said. But, you know, when I know how long is a piece of string, but when do you think, I mean, I feel like it's changing and people are already talking about coming out of isolation and going back to normal. Do you still think it's probably too soon?
For the selling side, so marketing side, I would, because we operate on it's actually a Dent methodology. So it's a company, it's a training company called Dent, and they suggest a 7-11-4 strategy. So people have to consume 7 lots of media, 11 hours over 4 channels. So they become more familiar with your stuff and more familiar with your brand, more trusting of your brand, more likely to convert the more content they consume of yours over more channels. So as long as you're doing that over this entire period, and you don't have to be selling at that stage anyway, as long as you're doing that, they're building up more awareness, more trust, more you're building up more credibility with them. They will convert down the track anyway. So I wouldn't stop any of that. But that has to be your baseline going forward. They're going to convert better and be better clients if you're doing that. And then I don't know how long, I don't know how far away it is, but you'll know through your pipeline and through your remarketing of them or to them, in terms of your nurture sequence. So if you're nurturing them through that and you can see how much content they have consumed, you'll know when the right time is to do that. So how we would run it is, if Shannon has, if we could track that Shannon has consumed all of this content on these channels, then we'd serve what we call the next best offer to her here. And if Brad has only consumed this bit here, then it's not right to serve them up the offer. So it's based on their consumption and the algorithms that sit behind that. So it's not, if you can segment that way based on consumption, it's a lot better. You've got a lot better conversion rate because you're much more relevant to Shannon than to Brad. But I wouldn't stop any of that consumption stuff. That's super important.
Of course, of course. Okay.
So keep up your email marketing, particularly. I missed a month and I kicked myself for it. Just silly, because we were busy at the time, and that's no excuse.
It happens. Life happens. Okay, cool. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? I'm obviously available to anyone on this call to help with any creative ideas, any storytelling ideas. I do find every single business I've worked with takes for granted what you do every day and how easily that could be turned into something like an ebook. You just have to literally write down after a phone call what you've talked about. If you're doing videos, make sure that you transcribe those into blogs, into the written content, and repurpose them into blogs and other content for your email marketing, etc. So think about repurposing what you've already done, and writing down to capture the stories through your entire week. But if you've got any questions or need some inspiration on that, or you're struggling with a product, or you need to, sorry Brad, pivot the product, then yeah, please just jump on a call or shoot me an email with a time that suits you.
Wonderful. That's a very generous offer, Karen.
No problems.
I have no doubt you will be the one that if I ever need to contact. And thank you so very much for your time. And thank you, Mosman Chamber of Commerce, for putting all this together. Really, really great. I would say this is the best chamber. I'm biased.
Absolutely. I've been to a few, and this is.
Absolutely. And keep giving values. The chamber is so generous in pulling together information and giving value. So thank you very much again to Pat, our president of Mosman Chamber, and to Karen for giving us so much information today. Lots of gold nuggets. Like I said, energy saving light bulbs.
Thanks very much, Karen.
Thank you. And I think
really well done. Thank you.
Brad's is the next one on Wednesday. Brad, what will you be speaking about?
Yeah, I'm going to be speaking about, I can't remember the title.
The bear behind you?
On the spot, I put it up there. I'm going to be speaking about the staff implications of the current shutdown and what we can do to make sure we're, one, making the most of our staff, also protecting our cash flows going forward. So there's been an enormous amount of changes to awards, terms and conditions of employment. It's, you know, there's things that small businesses can do to make sure they're going to come through this well equipped to you know, reap the rewards when the shops open back up and the small businesses get going. So yeah, I'll help you with the staff implications of close down. Thanks.
Fantastic. We look forward to that, Brad.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you,
My pleasure. Thank you. And I'll stop the recording now.
Thanks, Shannon. Bye.
Thank you.